Most gardeners chasing biochar right now are fixing the wrong problem, and, honestly, they pay for it with stalled plants, locked-up nutrients, and soil that looks better on paper than it performs in the bed. I see it constantly. People add expensive biochar, don't charge it properly, spike their pH, and then wonder why their tomatoes go pale and their brassicas refuse to size up. The mistake isn't wanting better soil. It's assuming biochar is some magic shortcut. It isn't. Long before biochar was trendy, our grandmothers were quietly using a simpler, sharper tool that actually delivers results when you understand it. That tool is properly handled wood ash. Before we go any further, if you care about growing food that actually feeds people, instead of just looking good on Instagram, subscribe to the channel. Farm logic is about results, not gardening fashion, and this topic alone can save you years of trial and error. Application matters more than the material itself. I never broadcast ash blindly. I treat it like lime with potassium attached. In a typical backyard bed, I apply ash only when soil pH is below about 6.5. 1 cup per 10 square feet is my upper limit for a single application. I spread it on dry soil, lightly rake it in, and water immediately to move soluble salts downward instead of letting them sit on the surface. In clay soil, this does two things at once. The calcium flocculates clay particles, improving drainage, while potassium supports root function under stress. You can feel the difference within a month. The soil stops sealing over after rain, and earthworms move back in because conditions stabilize. Raised beds respond even faster, which is both good and dangerous. Raised beds are where people get into trouble because everything happens faster. If your raised bed is peat heavy or cocoa based, it's almost always acidic. Wood ash shines here. But restraint is critical. I use about half a cup per 10 square feet in raised beds, once per season, usually before planting heavy feeders like tomatoes, squash or brassicas. I've seen raised beds overshoot into alkalinity when people dump ash like compost. Once pH climbs over 7.5, iron and manganese lock out and plants yellow no matter how much fertilizer you add. The fix for that mistake takes longer than doing it right the first time. Biochar's value is in holding nutrients long-term, but only after they're added. Wood ash actively changes nutrient availability. Potassium from ash improves sugar transport in plants, which directly affects flavor. If you've ever wondered why Grandma's tomatoes tasted better, this is a big part of it. In trials with potatoes, ash-treated beds consistently produced higher dry matter content. That's not anecdotal nostalgia, that's chemistry. Potassium regulates water balance and starch formation. Biochar can hold potassium, but it doesn't supply it unless you add it first. I don't add wood ash directly to hydroponic systems, and neither should you. But ash absolutely has a role upstream. When mixing nutrient solutions from raw salts or compost extracts, calcium and potassium ratios matter. Ash-extracted water, made by steeping 1 tablespoon of ash in a gallon of water and then straining thoroughly, can be used to buffer acidic solutions or supplement potassium in emergency situations. I've corrected calcium deficiencies in hydroponic lettuce by adjusting source water with trace ash extract before mixing nutrients. That's not a beginner move, but for experienced growers, it's a powerful tool when commercial supplements aren't available. Only use ash from clean, untreated wood. No painted lumber, no plywood, no charcoal briquettes. I store ash dry and never apply it when wind can carry it onto leaves. Ash is caustic. On foliage, it burns tissue. In soil, when watered properly, it stabilizes quickly. I also never combine fresh ash with ammonium-based fertilizers or fresh manure. The chemical reaction drives nitrogen into the air as ammonia gas. If you want to stack benefits, apply ash first, water it in, and wait at least a week before adding nitrogen sources. Biochar is slow, expensive, and unforgiving when used wrong. Wood ash is fast, free, and brutally honest. You see results quickly, which forces you to pay attention and adjust. For food growers who want better yields, better flavor, and soils that respond instead of stall, ash is the sharper tool. That doesn't mean biochar is useless. It means it's not a replacement for mineral management. Grandma didn't need biochar because she was already closing the nutrient loop efficiently. The smartest growers I know don't argue ash versus biochar. They use ash for correction and biochar for storage. Ash fixes today's problem. Biochar holds tomorrow's nutrients. But if you skip the correction step, biochar just locks in bad conditions. In my own systems, ash comes first, compost second, biochar last. That order matters. Get the chemistry right, then build biology, then improve structure. Modern gardening advice is obsessed with inputs instead of understanding. Wood ash forces you to think like a soil manager, not a consumer. It teaches restraint, observation, and timing. That's why it still works. If this kind of practical, experience-tested knowledge helps you grow better food, subscribe to the Farm Logic channel and share this video with someone who's been dumping biochar into struggling beds. The goal here isn't trends, it's gardens that produce more, waste less, and actually taste the way food is supposed to.